real question is actually who is Jesus? I think this is because I think we can maybe get distracted about the Trinity because it's very hard to explain how it all works together. But the main question is who is Jesus? And the reason that, as you said, it happened over time is because first people understood who Jesus was, and then they said, okay, now that we know and believe that Jesus is God, how does that influence how we see God? And then they started to discuss and figure out and write up a doctrine called the Trinity. But the belief that Jesus was God and that there is also God in heaven is at the beginning of being a Christian, I think.
Just let me, two things came up. So first of all, when you say Jewish are right, because it's their book, they're waiting for the Messiah. They have lots of prophecies about the Messiah, when he will be born, what he is going to do, lots of many things. When it actually happened, you believe it happened, right? So we believe it happened too. They don't believe it. So they are wrong when they're talking about Jesus, right? So obviously they don't accept him as a son of God. They don't accept him even as a prophet. So when Moses was talking about another prophet to come, very obviously, in many places in the Old Testament, the Jewish book, what they read every day, they know very much, they are scholars and everything, that they still couldn't see Jesus as a Messiah, even if it was very obvious. So if they made a mistake, why don't you think, they don't even think about Jesus being a God, being a prophet, they don't care about that. So they just stop that Jesus didn't come from God. They say Jesus came from the evil, the devil. So, you can't really use the Jewish as an argument against Jesus being a God or not, because they are denying the whole concept of Jesus being a prophet. So,
yes, I think that leads to the kind of question about how is Jesus understood in the Quran, because this is always really interesting to me when I've read how Jesus is described in the Quran, and he's different. He's like the other prophets, but also different because he did miracles and he had virgin birth. So how do you see Jesus as being similar or different to other prophets?
Okay, I'm not a scholar though, so don't quote me. That's my belief. Quran says he is a miracle born. Yes. Also, he's like Prophet Adam. He didn't have a mother or father. He was created. So why does it sound, surprise to our Christian friends? That's what God is asking. When I created somebody from nothing, but at least he had a mother. He had a physical mother, actually. He had that. So why is it surprise? What can I do? I can do it. It's up to me how I do it. So this is an example given by God. Also, we've been told he is one of their messenger. He had a book. They one of the 4 books, so he had one of the books. And also said he used to cure the blind, and he used to do a lot of other things, miracles. And he always used to say the easy enough. If God helps, it happens. Also in the Bible you will find when somebody in particular, he will say, if the Father wills, something like that as well. So you already have that. And he also said, I don't know when the last day is coming. So how would God doesn't know the last day if he was God? Also, I've been told by other priest friends, 3 days when he was killed by, we say he's alive, so we say he's dead. But 3 days he was tasting, he was in hell for 3 days. So if he is God, how can he go in the hell, in the punishment? Another question bugs me. It's also in the Bible. It says the father's sin, because of the father's sin, the children will be punished for something like that, isn't it?
You mean that the father's sin passes to the children?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, so for our sin, why would God get punished for it? These are my questions anyway. They can be right. So I hope I'm safe for 2 reasons. You could correct me. I say I love him, I believe in him, I believe everything he said. and he was praying to God, not himself, and he's going to come back and save the whole humanity. Only thing I'm saying is I don't worship him, and he's not God. And this is something strikes me as well, another thing. You know, in the history of the humankind on earth, nobody claimed that man is God. Nobody. You look at the Moses time, you look at the Abraham's time, you look at the Isaac's time, or after Jesus. Only that period of time, some people, his followers, not even his direct followers saying, we think he's